Hi, John. I was just kind of listening, and I had a question about if you had any advice for women when, like, I guess our partner starts to listen to us and listen to the boundaries, and is starting to respect them. Like, how do we not self-sabotage the relationship then? So, like, the phone was one, and he puts it down now, and as soon as I come in and gives me his attention, but, like, my brain, and I think it's from past relationship fails, is like, oh, he's doing something wrong. He's doing something wrong. And that's, like, he's not at all. So, like, do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, of course. So you're saying that you actually are with someone who's trying to respect boundaries and protect you, but because of past trauma, you still have this suspicion? Am I understanding the question right?
Yeah, or I guess a fear maybe, that there's something that they're like, why now am I getting all the attention? And like, really, I know it's healthy, so that's why I think it's just trauma trying to, like, that's not safe, that's not okay. But yeah,
So
sorry.
that no, I get it. I get it. And listen, you're where I deal with this a lot is if I'm dealing with a couple who has kind of recovered from betrayal or an affair. I'm not, asking or suggesting that that's what happened. But what happens is if somebody was checked out of the marriage and then they have an affair, usually, or some kind of triggering event, it doesn't have to be an affair, then suddenly the person starts behaving, the husband starts giving them attention. It's a very common question that women have where suddenly it's like, well, why now? Why suddenly? Can I trust this? How long is this going to last? Is this just temporary? Is he gaslighting me or love bombing me or whatever term you want to use? So the first thing to do is exactly what you've done, where you've labeled that this isn't the best way forward. So congratulations, you've already kind of passed the first one. The second thing to do is to share that sentiment with him, right? But in a gentle way. So you could say, listen, I know you're doing all these things and I know you're doing great. There's still a piece of me that's suspicious and I don't think it's you. I think there's trauma I'm dealing through. Please be patient with me. If I'm rude or if I'm a little bit aggressive on certain things, know that I think you're doing great. And I'm sorry if I can't be there fully for you yet. And please be patient with me. That's much more helpful than, well, why now? Right? Because if the guy's doing everything right suddenly, you don't want to discourage him from continuing. So being vulnerable and saying, I realize that some of this might be me, and I'm trying to figure it out. That vulnerability usually resonates very well with your partner. Have you tried doing stuff like that?
We have, and we've actually recently started communicating a lot more openly, and honestly with each other and more positively. And I know, like, I'm in DBT, so for
Yeah,
basically learn how to help me with my
dialectical
emotions
behavioral
and process.
therapy. Sure.
Yes, thank you. And so I know that I could sometimes be very reactive, before I think it through, and I don't want to, shut him down and close things off before we really have a chance to, like, just be vulnerable with each other and honest.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right thing, right? So you realize that it might be a problem on your end and you're learning skills. So for
Yeah.
people who don't know, I'll just fill everybody in. Dialectical behavioral therapy, she referred to it as the initials DBT. They teach you how to deal with the emotional regulation component and the distress tolerance and being mindful, being in the moment, and the interpersonal relationships. Those are the 4 pillars. And there's tools. There's tools to center yourself on the here and now and to be able to kind of take over all those triggers that make you kind of spiral out of control. That's the right thing to do. It sounds like you're on the right track. You've identified the problems and you're working through it. The hard part now is it takes time. It takes time to develop those skills. Continue to ask your partner to be gracious with you. If he doesn't know what DBT is, it's not a bad idea to kind of clue him in. Maybe you even see with if your therapist is comfortable with it, if she or he would be okay with him joining for a session to see how you're trying to work through the tools. When they see that there's effort being made, it gives you more runway to create those habits in a more permanent way. But you're doing everything right, and bravo. Because a lot of people just say, how do I trust him? How do I trust him? I can't trust him. You've already kind of crossed the harder part. So good for you.
No, I think it's me. So thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right. Take care.